We are here today with the organizer of WordCamp Los Angeles, Adam Silver.
Hello.
Hello, Adam Silver.
Hello, Sadie.
Thank you for joining us today. Two developers and a palm tree. Adam, tell me, we interviewed you at WordCamp Orange County.
No, you didn't.
We didn't?
Nope.
Oh, we talked about it.
We talked about it. It didn't happen.
Oh, I thought we did. Well, I asked him a lot of questions at WordCamp Orange County about the process that he was in terms of organizing. So there's no video for you to refer to, but I want to follow up on that conversation that we had. Tell me, in comparison with you starting out as a first-time organizer of WordCamp, and you now, today, in the thick of it, is happening out there.
It is.
Where are you at with it, and how much do you need a drink?
Well, I've been a volunteer and a co-organizer last year. I was a volunteer before that. It's kind of surreal, and I've told people this, and I've told other organizers this, and it's surreal that I was the lead organizer. I honestly feel that, in a good way. I also really didn't see it coming 5-6 years ago. And it gives me a lot more respect and understanding of all other organizers for all other camps, completely, based on what it took and what it takes. Not quite hard, per se, so I'm not curing cancer, I'm not digging ditches, but I think it's an answer. It happened, it's here, it's going on. So, and yes, I could use a drink. Yes, absolutely. A whiskey sour would be great.
You're like, right now.
Right now.
So you've been heavily involved in the WordPress community for quite some time. You do a lot of different things, including the South Bay WordPress Meetup, which is a large group. South Bay is a large grouping of cities,
yes,
at any rate. Kind of like the southwest corner of LA.
Redondo Beach, Hermosa, Manhattan, Torrance, Hawthorne, PV. That's the general area that I cover.
Nice. Basically between the 105 and the 110 and the 405.
And sometimes Long Beach. Some people come up from Long Beach, but they stop. They won't go past the 105 north.
No.
And if they want to go further south, there's Orange County. So that's I started it because of location.
Yeah. So tell me about that group and how that's going. How long have you been doing that?
Ooh, the group's good. About 330 members. A lot of those people I've never met. I don't know why people join meetups and never go. Kind of weird. Doesn't affect the investment that I put into it because the way Meetup charges doesn't matter on that number. We're good. It's every third Thursday of the month, unless I'm traveling to a WordCamp or I'm out of town just traveling in general, which I do often. But normally it's good. So that's the key, is consistency on the date, the day of the month. And about 3 years, maybe 4 years. 2016, you said? Yeah, 3-4 years in that range.
It's 2016. I checked.
This at the moment right now. My answer for right now is this week. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's WordCamp is taking over the brain. Ask me Monday. I'll know the exact date when it started.
That's okay. Just about a couple years ago.
Approximately 3 years.
The reason I'm asking though is because that's you've been around to really see a shift in both the software itself.
Oh yeah.
Since 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I mean, it's dramatic changes that WordPress has been going through, and I think also in the community, a lot of different shifts in terms of scale and size of WordCamps. And the size of the Southern California WordPress community has really boomed.
Yeah, and you know, it's an interesting observation. I started my meetup because of location, like I said. I used to go to the SoCal one that Natalie and Noel ran, and it was because I had the time. I wasn't working at the time, so I could go at night, but then I got a different job, and it was just far. You know, it's sad to say it was 16 to 20 miles.
That's really far in
but
SoCal.
In SoCal, it's like a day by horseback. You know, so you know, so I just wanted one closer. And I even asked Natalie, I'm like, hey Natalie, do you mind if I start one in the South Bay? She's like, go ahead. So I did. You know, I didn't want to overlap. I didn't want to step on people's toes. I guess it's been 4 or 5 years. I was newer to the community, so I didn't know how it worked. So I'm not sure where to go with that answer as far as the change. It's interesting. Even the LA one has merged with the Hollywood one. Greg Douglas took Hollywood and merged with LA because Natalie moved over to Girl Development. Noel has stepped away completely, I think, from the meetup. Theirs is huge and they're strong, and I'm not sure how often Greg has his. Has it changed? It's changed. I'm not sure how to give you the words for it. WordPress has changed, probably more than the meetups have changed, and the camps. LA camp has been pretty consistent, size-wise, location, the amount of people, the attendees, still leans heavily towards beginner. We'll talk more about WordCamp if you want to know what my thoughts were here, what my main goals of this camp was.
I want to know.
But yeah, I mean, WordPress has changed a lot. I mean, I started WordPress work late 2008, early 2009. It's been 8 years. It's a huge difference.
Well, that actually leads into
huge.
It's huge.
Huge.
That actually leads into what you were exactly just saying, because the difference in curriculum at a WordCamp has changed.
Oh yeah.
And so talk to that a little bit. What did you try to do that was different? What did you try to bring in that was the same? You know, because of where the software is at, literally.
So my perception and my experience is WordCamps still really tend to attract new people. You know, and a lot of newer information, overall knowledge. There are tracks like business or talks that are business focused. We're doing a business track tomorrow. There's design, there's development. And I loved it early on when I first came into the area. I met you at OC or LA a couple years back. You know, a lot of us was a beginner. And I noticed as I got smarter, I think, and I learned more, I realized that the developer talks weren't deep enough. So one of my main goals, and because I was lead, I just made this happen.
You're like, I can do this.
Yeah, I went ahead.
We're doing it this way.
And I invited 3 people to do a developer workshop, plain and simple.
Those are your jam sessions, right?
Jam sessions.
They're longer.
90 minutes.
So 90-minute session with hand-picked developers.
Hand-picked speakers.
Hand-picked speakers who are developers.
Who are developers.
Yeah.
Andrew Norcross, Nathan Tyler, and Ben Cool. And Andrew and Ben came from like Florida and Michigan, respectively, on their own nickel, on their own dime. You know, lots of dimes, right?
Maybe a quarter.
Right. You know, and I just wanted developers to get more, because I know from the hallway tracks that some developers, at the end of the day, will come but wouldn't go to any sessions because they knew as much as the speaker. I wanted people to take
as much or more.
Or more.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be deeper. You can't get that in 35, 40 minutes with some Q&A.
Certainly not in a lightning talk.
No.
You're like, here's some new PHP.
Right. You know.
It's done.
Here's V7. You know, that's it.
You're gone. Go Google it.
So that was my goal, and I'm happy that worked out. So I did 3 talks. Almost we were going to do a 4th, but I just did 3. Leave the space open for more Q&A. Beginner stuff is great. I love the beginners. Those are my people. I focus on helping those people because you know, it's because to them we're like all knowing. I know enough, but if I to do a talk for other developers or intermediate, there's a different expectation. I don't want that kind of stress or pressure. So honestly, but yeah, my goals were really obviously to have a good overview or a good balance of talks, different topics. Tomorrow we have the business track with Steve Zankett running that or leading that as well. Picking from the people who submitted. We have 29 talks.
All told, both days.
Both days. Over 100 people submitted. That was very hard to narrow that down.
Yes.
You know, and we did it as a blind review. All 5 of us got on our call. I blocked off the name submission early on. We kind of locked that out, so we don't know who was who. You can kind of tell sometimes because we know the community.
You definitely know if Alice Vasquez.
Oh, for sure. And some people wrote their name. They wrote their name in. You know, like I'm going to talk about this because I did it here when I was. You know, so you can. But for the most part, blind. And then it was just based on what would make sense for the camp. You know, it's tough. It's tough because you're going to hurt some people's feelings. People want the opportunity to speak. We want to get a balance. I wanted a balance of gender as well. I want to.
How do you balance gender in
without knowing?
Blind? So you basically like pick topics and then you add the names on, and then you're like, okay,
right? Absolutely.
It's tough. It's a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, so because we'll have that blind. We red, green, yellow, or green, yellow, red. I guess you want to think about it that way. It also based on description. Some talks could be a good talk, but the talk title, or the description just wasn't clear. It was too vague completely. So, you know, or if we know it's a talk that's been on WordPress TV or it's been used multiple times, we're like, no, just based on those. Yeah, gender is tough because you don't know initially at all. But if we saw that we had a whole bunch of men, which predominantly it's going to happen, we would go back and look at the list again from the yellows or reds and see what we can do. Did it make sense experience-wise? Will it help the camp? The end of the day is not about me as the leader. It's about the attendees. I want value for attendees. I want as much value as I can possibly give.
So how do you make that choice in terms of, you obviously favor beginners, You created the dev track. I mean, when people submit talks, you have 100 talks. They're running the gamut from a minor talk about a new PHP function
Right.
to here is how you set up a whole WordPress website, which is I think one of the talks that's happening today.
I think the answer there is it's simple.
With a puppet.
With a puppet.
There's a puppet,
Or
and
a dart.
that's why.
A dart. We use a dartboard.
No, I mean there's a puppet in one of the talks.
Oh wow. Interesting.
Do you not know?
I don't know if I knew that or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like how to build a WordPress site with a puppet.
I did. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
sits like a what is that called?
Ventriloquist,
Ventriloquist.
yes.
I think it's a ventriloquist. So that's unique.
Yeah. So
Adam totally knows that happens.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So in answer to the question, our organizers, the 5 of us, have pretty good a good balance of what we all do professionally. Developer, agency, so 2 developers, an agency, myself as an educator and light agency, podcaster, and social media. So with that spread, we were pretty well balanced. I think to be able to pick what would be interesting to us,
Right.
which would then be interesting ideally to the larger audience. At first we had a lot of developers, a lot of dev talks. We don't want to be, it's not a dev conference. We have the dev workshop, that was that kind of thing. So it's not easy. It's not easy picking.
No.
It's really tough.
Yeah. And then you have to tell people.
I didn't.
He didn't.
The speaker did.
The things I delegate include rejecting people.
And some people, I think.
Reacted not so great?
Yep. It happens. Sorry.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, a large part of making a community event like this happen is managing the community expectations.
Absolutely.
Their expectations from last year to this year.
Right.
In terms of talks, but also in terms of, it's easier because you're in the same venue.
Right.
So you have kind of didn't you have like a little venue?
We didn't have a venue issue.
You didn't have a venue issue?
No. But next year, there's a chance it may not be here. Because...
Like the building?
Well, God forbid.
Development in LA is happening quickly, so...
No, I've heard a lot of feedback that Los Angeles WordCamp seems small. And I think from my experience, it started back in the day, with the first organizers when it was more the Wild West. I think Austin was part of those days. It was a small thing, and then as it kind of grew bigger, it's just a matter of who wants to take on that responsibility, that job of producing a camp. So I think last year, or 2 years, it was a little bigger. Went back to about 400 last year and this year. But you look at Los Angeles as a whole, we're a big city. We could do a bigger camp, but it takes more work, more people. So in my second year, if I'm selected to be the lead again, if I will apply. I don't know why I wouldn't be selected unless people hate me. I might try to increase the camp and go back to the format of maybe a 3-day format. Just a random thought. I'm not sure if it's not going to be solid. Foundation Friday, camp Saturday, contributor day Sunday possibly, but different location. We've been here for 3 years. I'm ready for a change of scenery.
He's over it.
Well, and also based on what we have right now on the sponsor level alone, we have a lot of sponsors. We're out of space.
Right.
So we're outgrowing that aspect of it. And remember, a couple years ago we did it here. It was split up into 2 areas, like around the corner and up here. That was a pain in the butt. I want to have it concise and a cohesive area, but big enough where people can move around.
So earlier I was talking with last year's lead organizer, Alex Vasquez, and we were talking a little bit about some of the things that another previous LA organizer, Natalie McLeese, had said about the type of WordCamps that are so large, that become these large things. They've lost their kind of unconference, informal feel.
Right.
Would you advocate a more sort of regional camp approach where there's more like a South Bay WordCamp is doing more of that, and then the bigger LA WordCamp, or just one big WordCamp to rule them all for the region? Or?
It's a valid and a great question. And someone asked me today when I did opening remarks about will there be a Long Beach WordCamp? Because the new policy from Foundation is you have to have a city name in it. You can't I went to Northeast Ohio earlier this year. There won't be a Northeast Ohio WordCamp next year.
It has to be sponsored at a city.
It has to be city-based, city named. So it'll be Kent, Ohio WordCamp. Los Angeles is so big, is good and bad. It's good because you have the potential of an 800, 900 person camp. But like Natalie says, and I agree, she wrote a blog post about that whole thing a year ago, the connection, the community aspect, is it lost on scale?
It becomes like a MozCon or just like a big development conference where it's loses the intimacy of a WordPress community.
So I hear with that, and that's good to hear that again to remind me, because I was thinking, okay, maybe next year we go to 500 or 600, maybe not 800 like in Miami, but or do we keep it at 450, 500, and then does Redondo Beach do a camp, or does Long Beach do a camp? Is that too close, right? The LBC, is that too close to Orange County? Because Orange County is huge also as a county. Technically, it's not Orange County isn't a city.
No.
That may have to change.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do you see a lot of these rules with the foundation? There's been a lot of shift in the foundation over the past year. Do you think that these are changing, kind of like with WordPress, we're just kind of feeling it out, or do you think they're more like continuing the status quo that's been happening?
I think it's changing. I think they're trying to do the best they can do, with in keep up with times. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's no one's resting on the laurels. I really don't.
Right.
I would. They're not resting on the laurels. There's changes being made. The way they're running camp, or the way they're running, trying to help us organizers, with budgets, with approvals, all that kind of making it easier, and getting better. So yeah.
So you're an educator in the word. We do a lot of the same things, and so we have a lot of same perspective in terms of viewing things from a user experience and dealing with users directly, which a lot of developers don't get. How do you feel about where users are in terms of their WordPress experience right now? How do you feel about that?
Well, how much time do you have?
Well, that would be a different show, but I just thought I'd ask it anyway.
I think
the short answer.
Okay.
We can turn the long answer into a whole other topic.
Yeah,
Maybe on kitchen sink.
Okay.
I come talk about it. You see how I just invited myself on his show? That just
I have a podcast. Yeah.
It's called Kitchen Sink WP.
Yeah. I think
it's everything in the kitchen sink except say.
Wow. Or Jason Tucker.
Or Jason Tucker.
Off camera. I think this, as far as the user interface and experience, I believe that there was a time and point when WordPress was sold marketed as free and easy, right? It was a blogging platform for easy, up and running, have a blog, and that was great if you wanted that. Once things changed with custom post types, with the accessibility of plugins and whatnot, it was easier to do certain things, but still difficult. You still have to bring in a developer to some extent. To do e-commerce, to do e-learning, membership sites, you needed help. If someone came into the space during that time, it wasn't easy. So they got turned off to WordPress. Cut to 6 years later, which is, let's say now, it is easy. But if you had that bad experience and you came back, you went away, you didn't do your website, you're like, you know what, my business doesn't need it.
Or you went to Squarespace.
You didn't, not if, you went somewhere else.
Yeah,
you went to Wix, Weebly, or Squarespace. You're there now. And that's unfortunate. If you are new now, it's a great time to be here. It really is. The investment in time and money is still necessary, your time or your money, but it is easier. But if it was it just depends what you need. Yeah, it's.
Well, I'm talking about just in terms of the out of the box user, which is always what I'm.
I think it's
kind of concerned with.
Out of the box user, way better. The fact that when you install WordPress, it has the welcome box and how to start. Fantastic. You can come back. That's awesome. The built-in documentation is amazing. Plain and simple. When I teach the class I teach, they don't need me. They want me. They want the guide. They want the guide. I'm the Sherpa. But
it's the same term I use.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much in
Sherpa Silver. Sherpa Say.
It's a thing.
Yeah. So
anyway.
Having that built-in help is pretty darn cool. But before that existed, it was clicking and hunting and pecking. Where is stuff? How do you find stuff? It's much easier to find things now. And resources, I think, in general, resources built into WordPress and forums and community is there, and third-party resources are there and strong.
So good.
Good.
So the state of WordPress in your mind is good. Strong.
I absolutely think so.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
All right.
I think so. It's people still come to me, hey, what should I use? I say, what do you want to do? What's your goal? Some people, I've gained clients that have left other services and platforms to WordPress. I've lost clients to Squarespace because. And we used to like, Wix. I take that like, it's a service, it's a tool. If it helps you do what you need to do, go.
Weebly's better than Wix. Just inside.
In
case you're wondering. Personal opinion. So it sounds to me like you're really, not only are you like literally like in the thick of it today, leading the charge today specifically, but you're looking forward to doing it next year. You want to make it bigger. You are, now you've got your kitchen sink podcast, you've got Concierge WP, and you're also doing freelance agency stuff, Silver.
So my company name, so Silver Lining Productions.
There's silver in it.
Silver Lining Productions is my company name, or my legally. Kitchen Sink WP is where I share for free. Episode 133 will come out Monday, so every Monday for the last 133 weeks.
Wonder where he got Monday.
Yeah.
It's a good day.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I know where I got it from. Not from you guys, but I know I got it because my other friend's podcast is Tuesday.
Okay.
Seriously, I wanted to beat him by a day. So if he sees this, he knows who I'm talking about. And then I have Concierge WP where I do maintenance and support. And I recently left the day job to run my. I don't know. I was just talking to somebody about it. Like, what do I do? How do I answer the 30-second elevator pitch? So my answer is I am a WordPress educator who also does service and support maintenance, developer work for small businesses. That's kind of the nutshell. So I'm trying to even get that tighter.
Yeah.
But like a virtual digital agency. I do some dev, fixes, and Concierge is the maintenance and the backup, the recurring stuff.
Cool.
Easy for us.
Definitely check out Adam's Kitchen Sink WP. He's interviewed a lot of cool people, and we'll soon have me on, and that'll be really cool too. We'll probably have a philosophical conversation about users.
Can I say, I'm actually having another podcast, new one launching soon.
So he'll never put me on Kitchen Sink WP, is what he's telling.
It's still going to keep around. It's not WordPress related.
Okay.
It's called It's Not a Hobby.
Okay, we'll look into that.
Okay.
Watch for it. But thank you so much for talking with us.
Thanks.
And we'll talk with you more at some point, I'm sure, because next year.
Yeah, it's crazy that I may lead the charge next year.
Yeah.
A month ago, I would have said, no way.
Or a glutton for punishment.
Yeah, and if you're at WordCamp Phoenix or Ann Arbor or US, come say hi.
Go say hi to this guy.
I travel. Right, is that good? Am I good?
Bye.
Hi? Good? Bye.